Greetings, friends, and it's the Grumpy Old Man broadcasting live from Studio B of WDWL TV, located on Grumpy Vulture Boulevard. And the vulture is still sick. Oh, yeah. Evidently, he must have found some really bad roadkill because he doesn't even want to look at food. Yeah. I looked in his cage earlier and he had his head down and his wings up over his beak. And I laughed my ass off. Although I'll pay. Yeah, I'll pay for laughing at him. I finally remembered. We were talking about what they call a lavalier microphone. That little, and this is basically what you'll see clipped. You know, it'll be clipped there or clipped on a shirt, and they hide the wire. With women, usually they drop it down the front because this plugs in to a transmitter. And I didn't think to look for the transmitter to show you what it looks like. So tomorrow, because I know where they're at. I know where the transmitters and the receivers are together. So tomorrow I will show you the little box that they have to wear on TV. Now, as it says in the title, let's talk about chili. And I'm not talking about the kind you eat. Now, I don't know how many of you out there follow these First Amendment auditors and constitutionalists. Well, there's this idiot that has been on YouTube for quite a while. And I learned about him basically when he got arrested down in Ironton, Ohio. And then I started to follow this idiot. Chili decastrated. His YouTube channel is Deflate Pause or something like that. And he claims to be a constitutional law scholar. Constitutional. Well, basically what he does, first of all, he has a total dislike for law enforcement. Total. Oh. This guy's disgusting. I'd like to grab him by the balls and twist. Well, what he does is he will go up to a traffic stop or anything where the police are involved, mainly traffic stops, and the idiot, he gets out of his van and he's holding two cell phones, filming. One filming the officer and one filming himself. And he wears these goofy Princess Leia headphones, but he gets out. And he will get right up, right in the scene. And if an officer tells him kindly, step back, he literally tells the officers to go fuck off. Literally. And he calls them pigs and dogs. The one traffic stop when the officer told him to step back, he told the officer, he says, fuck you, doggy, go get in your car and write your ticket and leave me alone. Well, he does this to be confrontational because it gets more clicks and views on YouTube. And that's one of the reasons he acts like this big hard ass. He tells the officer, he says, I'll kick your ass so fast Google won't be able to locate, all your body parts. And, I'm an MMA fighter and, you don't want to fuck with me. And But when he gets arrested, immediately he has an injured shoulder. Can you put the cuffs in front? No. Oh, can you put two pair on? I have an injured shoulder. So I was watching yesterday his court hearing out in Las Vegas. And just as he is getting, called up to have his case heard, he calls the officers pigs and he insulted the judge. Now, nice way to start. Well, he immediately pissed off the judge. And she said, you owe an apology. So he apologized to the court. And the judge said, no. You owe my deputy an apology. And he refused. Now, his case hasn't been heard yet. Nice way to start. So, the officer gets up to testify and explains exactly why Mr. DeCastrated was arrested under two charges, obstructing and can't remember the other one. And as his attorney is, doing the exam, he's granting, anytime this asshole can pick a time to grandstand, he will. So when his attorney gets done getting his testimony, the judge asks the prosecution if they would like to cross-examine. And the prosecutor said no, which pissed Mr. DeCastrated off completely because he just wanted to berate the legal system and, berate the cops. And prosecutor wasn't falling for his crap. Pardon me. So, it comes time for closing arguments, and I could not believe this prosecutor. She called for 90 days suspended, credit for time served, and a $500 fine. And of course, his attorney, this was a travesty of justice, and he shouldn't have been arrested, and credit for time he served in jail. Period. So it comes time for the judge. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. Everybody rise now. Here come the judge. So she asks Mr. Decastrated to stand up. And she says, I sentence you on the first charge, which I find you guilty of, to 90 days. I find you guilty of the second charge. I sentence you to 90 days. You will serve those sentences consecutively, which basically means you do 90 and then you do 90 more. And his attorney said, as the prosecutor suggested, Your Honor, suspended sentence. And the judge says, no, he will start now. And I tell you what, I almost pissed my pants laughing at the constipational law scholar. Yeah, got his law degree off of YouTube. Of course, when he was being handcuffed to be taken off to jail, the shoulder injury reappeared. Can I have 2 cuffs, please? The shoulder never bothers him until it's time for handcuffs. And of course, he's ranting and raving, a travesty of justice. The end of the month, he has another hearing because he was charged again with the same 2 charges. So it should be interesting, because if the judge decides to sentence him the same way, he will end up doing a year. And it couldn't happen to a nicer asshole. You need to check out his YouTube channel, Delete Laws, Lawz, and just listen to how he rants and raves and berates law enforcement. Oh my God. And he does it to their face, too. A guy like this, my opinion, needs to be put away for a long, long time. He thinks it's so bad out on the street. Let's see what his opinion is after he serves a year or 2 in jail. I have never. Now, growing up, of course, different era, I was taught to respect the police, the firemen, and at that time we didn't have EMS. We just had police and fire. And I had police and fire on both sides of the family. My grandfather was a Cleveland policeman for years, my mother's father. He rode a horse. He was part of the mounted unit. He directed traffic at the foot of the Lorraine Carnegie Bridge as you go downtown, or the Detroit Superior Bridge, not the Lorraine Carnegie. Pardon moi. Right at West 9th, just as you enter into downtown, he directed traffic there for years with his horse. He always rode a horse. And it was interesting because I talked to a detective that I had known for quite a while, and he was getting to retire. He was a couple of months out from retirement, and I ran into him, and he said, "I'm finally going to do it." And I don't know how the subject came up. I think I had mentioned, matter of fact, yeah, we were talking about how the generations have changed as far as their respect for police. And I told him, I said, well, my grandfather was a police officer. I said, as a matter of fact, he used to direct traffic right at the foot of the Detroit Superior Bridge. And the next thing out of my buddy's mouth was, Big Bill Miller? I almost had heart failure. He says, oh, he was a big name down in the 3rd District at the time. He said everybody knew Big Bill. And I was quite impressed because my grandfather had passed in the mid-50s. And how he got to know of my grandfather, I never got to talk to him because he had to go. One of these days, I'm going to ask him how he knew. But as soon as I mentioned the foot of the Detroit Superior Bridge, immediately he said, Big Bill Miller? Oh. So when I see this idiot, Chili con Carne, insulting police officers, I want to kind of grab him by the throat and rip his larynx out. But he got what he deserved today. Not long enough. Because by the time they figure in, good time, you always get that good time discount. 180 days will probably turn into 100 at that. But I hope the second judge gives him what for. It'll be really interesting. Yep. Speaking about interesting, I've been having a bit of a problem because my graphics card in my computer doesn't have enough horsepower. So I went online and I asked 6 different eBay sellers what the next bump up is from the graphics card that I currently have in my computer now. And I gave them all the specs of the computer and I gave them the model of the graphics card that's in there because I had changed it once. When I got this new monitor, it's a 43-inch curved gaming monitor. It needed a little punch. Well, with the monitor and prism, it needs a little punch again. Out of 6, one responded back and asked me if I could photograph the inside of my computer because he's talking. He said, from what you describe, I know the model of your graphics card and it's a single. You need a double. And he says, I need to know if you have enough room. I'm like, a double? 2? Well, I guess it's wider. More power. So I opened the top and I took a couple of pictures and I emailed them off to him. You would think in this day and age, people would want to sell their product. I had one response that came back, buy a new computer. This computer is only 2 years old. It's an eBay refurb, upgraded from Windows 8 to Windows 10 Pro. Upgraded from a 250 gig to a 1 terabyte gig hard drive. Upgraded from 2 gigs of RAM to 6 gigs of RAM. I don't need a new computer. I need a little bit bigger graphics card. Yeah. I get a response, buy a new computer. Well, thank you. Believe me, you won't be on my favorite sellers list. Out of 6, I had 2 replies. The one that told me to buy a new computer, and the one fellow that said, I will see what I've got. He is a seller of refurbished graphics cards. On his website, he had a gazillion, and I mean some monstrosities. He had a couple there. The one had 6 fans. I'm like, holy shit. 6 fans? Of course, the price was commensurate with the fans. Mine has one big one. The one that he is thinking about has two two medium-sized ones, but he needed to know if I had the room. Looks like I got the room to me, but we'll find out. I don't play games on my computer, but Prism every now and then does a bit of a lag, and I discovered that it was in the graphics card. Urgh. Because I want to use those backgrounds, but in order to use the backgrounds, I need a little more graphics card. Because when I was trying them out, they would kind of fade in and out. And when I asked this guy with the graphics cards, he said, "Yeah, your graphics card is, you know, it's in the marathon, but it's slowly dropping back." You know, but I couldn't believe the one guy buy a new computer. You're in the business to sell graphics cards. You don't want to make a sale? Although I think a lot of it had to do with, I'm not buying a $400 or $500 graphics card. So why bother with me? Yeah. I was going to do music again today, but I figured I'm not really going to press my luck. I want to see how the other two streams do. Because a lot of times the tube doesn't review them right away. And I don't want to get a eh. Also, I came up with an idea. I saw this one YouTuber. Behind him, he has a big screen TV, and it looks like a fireplace. I have a 35, I think it's 35. Might be a little bigger, but I'm pretty sure it's a 35-inch monitor. I'm thinking of taking the signs down and hanging it behind me and positioning it so you just would see the monitor. And I found some looping videos of traffic. So it would look like I was sitting in the middle of lanes of traffic, having cars go by. I thought that would be kind of cool, like, don't hit me. But I could hang that TV set, that monitor, back here. Something to toy with. I was working over in Studio A today, going through microphones and cables. And I've got some more microphones to test. See, because over there, it's all old school XLR, not like this. This is plug and play. I just plug it into USB in the computer and I have a mic. Over in Studio A, everything has to go through a mixer and an interface. And a while back, a friend of mine gave me a box, well, 3 boxes of microphones, microphone arms, all kinds of accessories. So I've been testing the microphones that he gave me, seeing which ones work the best over there. Because these Blue Yetis, you can't beat them. Outstanding. To me, I think it's one of the best microphones made in the price range. Now, there are microphones out there that are well over $1,000. I don't need that kind of equipment. Use the Blue Yetis, although I do have that brand new gold, Cubano Gold Yeti Nano. And one of these days, the Yeti X will be here. That one I can't wait to try out. Because that one is like 3 times the performance of this one. And these are like top of the line. Yeah, the Yeti X. Not to mention, it lights up. The Yeti X changes colors. Not gaudy. Just, I believe, just the logo. I don't know if the microphone itself lights up. Like the one that I use every now and then. It changes colors, red, green, blue, yellow. The Yeti X has some color to it. But it's an ultra professional mic, and I can't wait for it to get here to try it out. And I told my buddy's son, as much as I appreciate the equipment, please, no more microphones. He said, well, I've got 1 or 2 more. I was like, he said, one of them is a super high-end XLR mic. It's like a $600-700 microphone. I was like, the grumpy old man broadcasting with a $700 microphone? That's like champagne. I have like a beer wallet, not a champagne wallet. But he told me, as a matter of fact, it comes in its own suitcase. Carry your mic to work. Is that your lunch, sir? No, it's my microphone. Oh. That's like a few years back when Rush Limbaugh was still around. He was awarded a golden microphone. The whole goddamn mic was gold plated. And he would carry it in its own special suitcase every day. And, you know, the sound guys would hook it up. Because, you know, everybody's in and out of studios. It's not like he had his own private studio. But he had a gold, because he always used to say, this is Rush Limbaugh broadcasting with my golden microphone. Yeah. I used to listen to him now and then. He was all right. Believe it or not, he was more appreciated by seniors older than me. Sometimes I liked what he had to say, and sometimes I didn't. Of course, that's why he had the following. He was controversial. Sometimes he would bore me to death. But tomorrow, I will have the transmitters and receivers so I can show you what they wear on TV if you don't know. Some of you may know, but I have some. And I'll show you, what the mic clips to. Most of the time, it's hidden away behind you. Although I remember one day I was watching Craig Ferguson. He had the late show. And I can't remember the female guest that he had. Well, they couldn't really. No, she was in a hurry. She was running late. So they clipped the lavalier mic on and they handed her the transmitter and said, just put it in your lap. Because when she walked out and went to sit down, by the desk, he was like, why are you carrying that? She said, because I was running late. They told me just hold on to it. So tomorrow I will show you what it looks like, if you care. Gives me something to stretch the screen with. And with that, friends, the grumpy old man is going to say good evening, have a good rest of your night,